To understand the story of the 2014 Louisiana College Wildcats, you have to go back to 2013. A program coming off its first ever trip to the NCAA Division III playoffs in 2012, the 2013 Wildcats finished 7-3, a respectable record, but one that left head coach Dennis Dunn concerned about issues of leadership. His challenge to the juniors, soon to be seniors, time to step up and lead.
2013 just was void in many ways of some of the leadership types we'd had in the past. Not real sure what those reasons were.
He was right, and it kind of hit me hard just because, that was kind of my guys that I came in with. So we really wanted to focus on, fixing that part because that's one thing that we can't control.
And that was the main focus, just get everybody on board. If you don't want to be on board, we don't want you here.
We just put a focus on accountability and focus on really keeping each other doing the right thing.
We was just trying to set the tone higher than what it was before. Just more hustle and try to get closer to one another.
And I believe we all agreed on that togetherness would be the thing that pulls us through.
And the fact that I had to talk this year was a huge difference that I had to get adapted to very quickly.
A lot of the guys had to step out of their comfort zone because them older guys weren't there no more.
Everyone found their place and really was buying into the program.
Each season, the Wildcats craft their goals around a motivating word or phrase. For 2014, that word was destiny.
I kind of personally began to relate it to everything in my life with my family and my church, but also really felt like it was applicable to who we are as Louisiana College Wildcats, not just football, but as our college. I really felt like 2014 was going to be a pivotal year as it related to the future of the college, and mostly I really feel like it was a faith statement.
We thought going in that we were be the best that we could be. We're one of the top teams in the nation, competing to be in the top 25 and to win the conference. If you look back, that's not how it turned out, but that's how what we believed was our destiny to be the greatest that year.
And destiny is a word that it's like it's meant for you. And that's how we felt. We felt like this year was our year for LC to make our name.
We really wanted to focus up, and we really felt like this was our time just because the team was as close as we've ever been. Offense and defense, we competed harder than we ever had, and we just felt like this was our time.
But for the 2014 Wildcats to reach their destiny, they'd have to negotiate the hardest schedule on paper in the team's recent history. Road trips to top 10 teams Wesley and Mary Hardin-Baylor, and a first in the program's history, a game at Division I Alcorn State.
I've always, in my career, believed that you had to play the best to be the best.
And so we kind of took that as a challenge. Coach Dunn was always talking about, I'm not ever going to schedule y'all a game that I don't think y'all can win.
We knew it was going to be a fight to win all them games, but our goal was to go undefeated.
You were challenged every week. You couldn't just have like a gimme game.
I knew if we played these teams, it would prepare us whenever we get in the conference.
I knew that we were a good team. I knew that we were playing a brutal schedule. So I knew that if we kept playing hard and stayed together, that we would get the results that we wanted.
With the strength of schedule looming, the Wildcats considered their Week 1 game against Huntington College a must-win. LC had dropped its 2013 matchup against the Hawks 34-27.
And we feel like that was a game that we should have won.
They'd beaten us in a couple of close games, so we knew it was going to be a dogfight.
A determined LC team led by preseason Offensive Player of the Year in the American Southwest Conference, quarterback Easton Melanson, jumped out to a 17-0 lead after the first quarter. But a back-and-forth scoring contest saw Huntington lead 42-35 in the fourth quarter. After the Wildcats tied the game at 42, a shanked punt gave LC the ball at the Hawks' 21 with 44 seconds left.
Here's Melanson from the 18. Fakes the handoff. He's got Ladarius Gardner up the left side. Touchdown, Wildcats!
The 49-42 victory giving the Wildcats some early momentum and confidence with an even greater challenge ahead in Week 2.
We welcome you to Lorman, Mississippi, home of the Alcorn State Braves. History today as the Division III LC Wildcats face their first ever Division I opponent.
The Alcorn game came about last spring when they were looking for a game to to play. Really, I think they were kind of looking for an opportunity for an easy win, and they called me, and it was an opportunity for me to put a challenge before our seniors to say, all right, y'all ready to do this? The first Division I team to line up and want to play us, and they were, I mean, it was a resounding, absolutely, let's do this.
We thought we were as talented or more talented as them.
There's never fair in any of us, you know. We feel like we're pretty much all we were was just a group of guys that just feel like we were overlooked from coming out of high school and things like that. And so the whole time we were just talking, just don't be afraid, you know, just go out there and play your game, play the best you can play with these guys. And our coaches did a great job at putting that in our heads.
Man, we came out fired up. I mean, just ready to play, and it was a great atmosphere, a great game to play in.
To the shock of all but about 100 people in the stadium, the Wildcats coming out swinging. Linebacker Bo Brewer's forced fumble, stopping the first Alcorn State drive, and the Wildcats converting that turnover into points. Adon Oliveras, who the week before became LC's all-time leading scorer, making it 3-0 with a 20-yard field goal, setting the stage for another strike by the Cats defense.
Here's Gibbs back to pass. Over the middle. Picked off. It's Ira Jewett. Jewett up the sideline. He's going to take it all the way. 20, 10. Touchdown Wildcats. Wildcats lead it 10-0 before a stunned crowd here at Spinks Kasem Stadium.
Man, it was definitely a great feeling, to say the least.
You know, it showed that we can play with them and that we had just as many athletes as them.
The fact that we were winning at one point in that game doesn't surprise me.
They did not expect that at all from us. We came out firing hard, and we just didn't have the depth.
For the Wildcats, the early excitement would not last. Eventually, Alcorn's depth winning out 28 points in the second quarter, 21 more in the second half. A 10-0 lead ends in a 52-10 loss.
They kept their starters until about the fourth quarter, so I mean, it made us feel pretty good regardless of the score. We knew that we were ready to compete.
We fought, we never backed down, we weren't scared, you know, so it was just a fun environment to play in.
After the game, some of the guys came up and they was telling us, like, man, y'all had us scared, y'all had us nervous and stuff like that. So, I mean, I feel like we can play with them.
They gave us a lot of encouragement. You know, we could stand with anybody. I mean, they won the championship this year. And so, I mean, it wasn't like we played a slack Division I team.
Returning home for Game 3, the Wildcats would host another familiar foe and another team that accounted for one of their 3 losses in 2013. The Texas Lutheran Bulldogs embarrassed the Wildcats in that game, 37-27. It was that game that caused Coach Dunn to question his program's leadership. The 2014 Wildcats had not forgotten.
They were the ones who knocked us out of the playoffs. So that was another one we took personal, and we just wanted to come in and just show them, you know, who we were.
I took that game very personal because that's a team that I feel like we should have beat last year and this year.
To get where we want to be, we really looked at every game as a must-win, and we knew going to TLU it was going to be a fight. You know, we knew that.
We have a great team, but I think we just let them get in our heads from last year. They came out fired up. I think we felt like we were going to come out and just win.
Here we go, to the house on 3. 1, 2, 3, to the house!
But coming off 2 physical games, the Wildcats struggling against TLU early, trailing 14-0 after the first quarter and 28-17 at the half.
Come on, D!
Down 35-24 early in the fourth, the Wildcats drawing within 3 again when Melanson finds Jake Dunbar for the 35-yard touchdown, making it 35-32. The Bulldogs getting a field goal from Tyler Brandenburg to extend the lead to 6. Then Brandenburg has another chance to put the game away with 3.5 minutes left.
From 43 yards out, it's no good. No good. The Wildcats get another chance.
With time running out and his team down 6, Melanson leading the Cats on a 12-play drive down to the 4. But a sideline interference penalty taking away a final chance to win, a 38-32 loss, leaving the Wildcats 1-2.
We shouldn't have put ourselves in that situation. We should have been up a long time before that even happened. Something like that shouldn't have ever even had a role in the situation.
It's unfair to say that was the complete deciding factor. I think there were some other things, because that was very early in the season. We weren't still, you know, firing on all cylinders, and I think there was a lot of improvement that we could have had, you know, throughout the game that could have changed the final.
Look, seniors, now's the time to lead when we got some adversity. It's easy to lead when things are going well.
Let's go. Hey!
In week 4, the Wildcats were able to bounce back with their most convincing defensive performance to date, resulting in a 37-13 win over Bacone College in Muskogee, Oklahoma. The Wildcats keyed by 5 turnovers, including this interception return by senior cornerback Ira Jewett. His 57 yards on the play, giving him a new school record of 236 career return yards, and it was his 3rd career interception, tying yet another record.
We had 2 close.
The loss really brought it out of us, and for us to lose back-to-back weeks like that really brought it out of us also, because we were so looking forward to that TLU game, and just to have that taken away from us kind of took our emotions into that next game and just took it out on that team. And that's pretty much like a preview of what we could have done like the whole season.
Family, man. Family on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Let's go. Game day. Let's go.
In week 5, the Wildcats would make history again. The team had its first ever road trip via flight to Dover, Delaware to face number 4 in the nation, Wesley College.
I know that was my first time ever flying. So, and I'm sure there was a bunch of other guys that had that same kind of, wow, this is almost like a surreal moment.
Bus rides, bus rides, bus rides. That's all we do around here. And we got to take a flight to play number 4 team in the nation. Everybody was excited.
And then, we got on a plane, went up and played one of the top 5 teams in Division III that actually we should have beat 2 years before.
2 years earlier, in one of the best games ever played at Wildcat Stadium, Wesley survived the Wildcats 25-22, getting the win on a last-second field goal.
Some of the guys that actually played in that game were still here, so we knew we were going up there, their house, we were ready to get them. We had a chip on our shoulder, and then that one,
I felt like we kind of lost sight that it was a business trip for that game. A lot of us were clowning around, which, it's not a bad thing, but we just got beat that game.
Wesley quarterback Joe Callahan throwing 3 touchdowns in the first 16 minutes. A 28-0 start ends in a 56-21 finish. Making matters worse for LC, on one of its few bright spot plays, senior wide receiver Kyle Gallion getting popped on this 23-yard touchdown catch, suffering a broken collarbone and lost for the season.
It definitely hurt, not even the hit really. Just the fact that against that team, I didn't like to lose. That was a pretty bad game. A lot of people say, well, you went out on top, you scored a touchdown, but that's not what I was thinking. I was more upset that I wasn't going to be able to be out there with my guys, especially being my senior year. I just wanted to help them any way I could.
Honestly, scoring that touchdown isn't going to win the game. If I could, I'd take it back because we needed him for the rest of the season. He's a great guy, and I'd have loved to. He's played 4 years here. I'd have loved to see him be on the field for the rest of his own senior year.
At 2-3, the Wildcats were quickly seeing their destiny slip away, but would have 2 weeks to prepare for the game that could redeem their season, a trip to number 2 Mary Hardin-Baylor.
I don't think the trip had anything to do with it. I think just when we showed up to play, they were just a better team that day.
We had to stay focused, and we had to realize, that the playoff dream was still alive.
Family on 3. 1, 2, 3. Family.
For myself personally, and I'd probably say just about for all the other seniors, Mary Hardin-Baylor is our least favorite team in this country. And just the fact that we want to beat them was so high in preparation for that game. And then you add, well, if we don't beat them, then...
We knew if we didn't win, there was going to be no playoffs for us. So we just kept making sure the underclassmen knew how much it meant to us to win this game.
We tried to be relaxed about it, but I think we did tense up a little bit more when the closer the game got to its time to start.
Knowing what they had riding on the game, the Wildcats came out looking to surprise.
It's an onside kick, but the Crew will recover. So from the 43, Crew's first play on offense. Here's Zach Anderson, and there's Walker wide open. That'll be a touchdown as Mary Hardin-Baylor strikes first.
In a dominant first quarter, the Crew scoring 24 points to lead 24-0 after 1.
Just, they put it on a pedestal. They just believe that game is, it's the Super Bowl, and it's just, and they make mental errors. And then when 2 great forces are playing against each other, it's really not who's doing better, it's who makes the first mistake.
We wasn't on the same page. I mean, we had guys thinking we were this. I was thinking we were in that, and other guys thinking we were in this. As a whole defense, we wasn't on the same page, and that allowed them to make those big plays.
I mean, yeah, they jumped on us, but we still knew we could play with them. And that's the only reason we fought back, because we knew we could still play with them. We still had a chance to win the game.
The Wildcats would battle back, getting 17 points in the second quarter, 14 of them on touchdown passes from Alonso to Gardner. But the big plays were much too much for LC to overcome. Blake Jackson's 64-yard touchdown in the third quarter, and Waikia Walker's 78-yard touchdown catch from Jackson in the fourth, sending the Wildcats to the 45-24 loss. And for the first time all season, the Wildcats could not say their destiny would include a conference championship nor a return to the playoffs.
Keep fighting, keep believing. I love you. These coaches love you. And we're going to continue to give you our best effort in every way. Here's what I ask of you. You continue to give us your best effort.
You come out of that 2-4, you know you have no shot really at the playoffs. That's when you find out, okay, what kind of legacy will this senior class leave? And I don't know how others would have done in previous years, to be honest with you, but this class really stepped up and would not be denied. They were going to have that winning season.
Every time you go out on Saturday, it's about pride. You know, that's why we all play, I guess. But those last 4 games, you know, you don't want to feel like you went out on the decline.
So anytime you have a group going through a difficult time together, it forges that group to be better, and they come together, and it's a brotherhood, and that's the way it is here at LC.
Don't quit right there just because it's looking bad. You know, still continue to push and push even harder than before, so that way, you know, you don't live with regrets. You know, that you finish on a 4-winning streak. You know, so that's something that we can leave behind, that, you know, we left it, you know, we leave this program winning.
We don't believe, we still believe. We believe. Put your hands in here. Put your hands.
With 4 games left, the Wildcats knew they could finish anywhere from 2-8 to 6-4. Fortunately for them, their next game, homecoming, was against their arch rivals, ETBU, in the battle for the Border Claw.
Battle for the Claw. ETBU is the big rival game. They always talk a lot of noise, and that's the game we get really excited about because they play their hardest. I mean, I don't care who they play, they always looking to beat LC.
I hate them.
We hate ETBU. I mean, we do. They don't like us, we don't like them.
We got our juices back up, knowing that it's a rivalry game, knowing that they're coming after us, they want to get the claw back. So I think it was good as far as, you know, not letting us be mellow. Oh, we lost, like the season's kind of over with.
If there were any questions about the seniors' ability to lead, the first half of the ETBU game ended that. Starting with Jewett, with the score tied at 14 late in the first quarter.
Jewett fields the punt at the 9. Up to the 20. He's through to the 50. He's going to take this one all the way. Lewis leading him to the end zone. Touchdown Wildcats. Ira Jewett, 91 yards. That's a new ASC and LC record. Wildcats lead 21-0.
When ETBU's next possession stalled, it was another senior, safety Shaq Lewis, who comes up with a big blocked punt and then the touchdown, putting the Wildcats up 28-0.
Shaq blocking that punt was a huge deal. Our punt return, mainly because of Shaq leading me through to the end zone, was a huge deal. You know, and we just had a lot of fun. That's pretty much like what we told them that week before, that we're just going to have fun from here on out.
Me and Ira came in together as a freshman, and we did a lot of great things our 4 years here at LC. And it was pretty good to see him, you know what I'm saying, make his accomplishment and me as well to do my thing.
In the second half, the emergence of a new star for the Wildcats, freshman running back Devin Sill, rushing his way for 168 yards on 17 carries, finishing with 192 all-purpose yards. While on defense, the heart and soul player Bo Brewer, 21 tackles. That's one short of the record set by Nate Jansen in 2010. The 52-49 win for LC not only meant keeping the claw, it gave hope that the season could end well for the Wildcats.
Guys, that's a heck of a win. Look.
One week later, the Wildcats would host Howard-Payne in what would be their most dominant overall performance of 2014. The key, defense. The Wildcats picking off Yellow Jackets quarterback Richard Young 6 times and getting 9 tackles for loss. But the big story was the freshman, Sul. A school record 6 touchdowns, 5 on the ground, 1 through the air, 246 yards of offense in an impressive 55-28 win for the Wildcats to move them to 4-4 with 2 games left.
1, 2, 3.
With 2 games left, the Wildcats were riding high, but also found themselves having to ride far to Alpine, Texas, in West Texas, home of Sul Ross State University.
Too long to be on the bus.
It's not a very fun trip at all. It's a 2-day trip going there, and one day trip coming back, basically one night.
We thought they were going to be terrible. I mean, that's just being brutally honest. We thought, I mean, we beat them 70-7 or 70, something like that, 64-14 the year before. And we were just like, you know, they haven't won a game, or they won one maybe. And we were just, we couldn't get, no one was hyped, we were tired from the drive.
They gonna be today, man. Wake it up, Payne train, Joey!
What the Wildcats didn't know was that the Lobos, easy prey for them in the recent years, were a young and suddenly improving team.
They had a young quarterback, a bunch of young receivers, you know, and they were getting better, and they had a pretty good defense.
But when we got there, them boys were ready to play. And they were a lot better than we thought, a lot better. It was a heck of a game.
And they came out and they were swinging, and we had a reality check real quick.
But no one told the 1-7 Lobos they weren't supposed to win, as the Wildcats struggled the entire first half, finding themselves tied at 7 at halftime with a game on their hands.
We did not think they were going to be as good as they was, I don't think. We knew they was going to be athletic, and we knew that they could make the big play when they wanted to, but we didn't think that they were going to execute the way they did.
We knew they had some athletes, and we knew that if we didn't respect their athletes, we would pay the price, and we almost did towards the end of the game.
Early in the fourth quarter, Sul Ross taking a 19-14 lead when James Davis finds Steven Savedra to cap a 5-play, 80-yard drive. Then, following a Melanton interception, the Lobos make it 25-14 with 9:12 left when Derek Bernard finds Cordrick Mobley from 33 yards out.
I hate to say it, but yeah, there was a point that I was like, man, we might lose these guys.
They deserve to win that game. And I remember Coach Richard the whole time, he said, this team is going to find a way to lose the game. He's like, that's their history, that's what they're known for. They don't know how to win, and we do.
And that's actually just kind of built me up until Coach Charles asked me from like a good distance away, did he want to take me out on kickoff return? And I was like, no, I'm going to just play it out and see what happens.
But with everything against them and needing some kind of spark, the Wildcats will get it from who else? Senior kick returner Ira Jewett.
Jewett at the goal line.
He kicked it pretty deep, and I wasn't expecting the whole game. I wasn't expecting him to kick it that deep, but he kept kicking it a lot farther than I expected him to.
And he just caught the ball and took off.
I mean, when I saw him, he dropped that ball and he looked up for a second. I just saw his eyes get real big, and he took off. And I was like, he's about to return that. I knew it before he passed the 20-yard line. I was like, he's about to return this thing.
I was on the bench, and I seen Ira break through that first wall, and I stood up and I ran to the sideline.
Out to the 20. Now up the middle to the 30.
Like up to the close to the sideline, and I saw that he had one dude to make miss, and it was the kicker, I think.
It's up to midfield, one man to beat.
I think it was the kicker, and he always gets tackled by the kicker. So I was like, oh, come on, Ira.
For the first time, everyone picked up their blocks, and it was just a one-on-one with the kicker, and he was able to take advantage of that.
And he slipped, but he still made a move and made the guy miss, and then was off to the races, right?
Down to the 40. 30.
It was unbelievable how fast he was going, and like it looked like the guys were just slowing down because they knew they weren't going to catch him.
20, 10.
You seen all the teams just their morale pick up, and
touchdown Wildcats. Ira Jewett has done it again.
everyone was excited that we knew the game was going to over and we weren't going down without a fight.
For Jewett, career touchdown number 8, tying him with Justin Charles for the LC record. His 4th return of 2014, tying another school record and ASC record. One of the most remarkable careers in LC history.
That's how you play big!
Jewett's touchdown getting the Wildcats back to within 5, and after the LC defense holds, Sul Ross mishandling the punt. It will take the Wildcats just one play to take the lead. Shed Davis on the end around, putting the Wildcats ahead 26-25 with 3:01 left. Now the story turning to the LC defense.
Hey, let's go, white shirts. Let's go. Play right here, 4-9.
In the game's final 3 minutes, Davis had the Lobos driving down to the LC 10 with 30 seconds left. But on a 1st and goal play, who else will make the play for the Wildcats than the senior, Bo Brewer?
I think they motioned, so they had run that play once before in the game where he tossed it and they threw it back. Well, sometimes they had run a reverse out of it and just try to get the edge. So when he snapped the ball, I held edge for a second and he turned back to throw it.
Brewer with the sack, fumble, and the Wildcats get it. Who has it? It's Brewer. Bo Brewer saves the Wildcats with a game-clinching sack and fumble recovery.
Oh, it was crazy because, it was just like the game was over, like that was it. They didn't have another chance. All we had to do was nail the ball. The game was over. So I came out of the ball, the ball in my hand, and held over my head, or running and screaming. That was probably, I'll remember that forever.
Bo Brewer got every ounce out of that body that he could have gotten. But both those guys with the picture of work ethic. When you start talking about everything that it takes to be a Louisiana College Wildcat football player, they epitomized every bit of it. And they're models of who we really want this program to be and continue to be. And I would think they understand that they got here and they left the program better than they found it. And that's the theme that we try to sell to all the guys that are in the pro. Leave it better than you found it. And those 2 guys certainly did that.
You got an opportunity to help these seniors finish out next week with the 7th straight winning season. Wildcats on 3. 1, 2, 3. Wildcats.
Yeah, we got you.
Senior week would come too soon, as it always does. A steak night feast to honor the seniors was also a time to remember LC's biggest fan, Pineville City Marshal Larry Jean, who died just before the season began. Jean's wife and son carrying on the tradition of preparing the meal.
And he loved y'all, and I love you, and thank you for making him be as happy as he always was when he was with y'all. So I salute you.
I dedicated the season to Mr. Larry Jean, who meant a lot to me, and it happened so fast that, man, it was just emotional for me throughout the season.
Senior speech night, where those playing their final games give their charge to those coming after them.
Love y'all, and I hope y'all do a whole lot better than us. I hope we were able to teach y'all something. Let's just go out tomorrow and have fun, man.
And then finally, Senior Day, a time for families to celebrate with their sons the privilege of playing college football. Or for one senior, Iraq War veteran Andrew Maddox, a chance to celebrate with his wife and daughter.
To look at her a couple years back and say, hey, I'm going to play college football again at 26. I knew that she had to be on board, and she was. So to be able to walk out, see her there, and know how much we all, as a family, my wife and my daughter, sacrificed to get down here and to be able to do this, was really special. To give them the rose and be able to talk to them and tell her how much I love her and how much I appreciate the sacrifice that she made for me.
The Wildcats would win their Senior Day game, only fitting that it came down to the defense to save the day. Brewer with 21 more tackles to finish with an astounding 112 on the season, Lewis with his record-breaking 14th career interception, and Jewett with a new school record for return yards. That 42-35 was the score hardly mattered. What mattered more was the Wildcats somehow finding the way to finish their season with 4 straight wins, runners-up in the ASC for the 4th time in 5 years, and a 6-4 record that fulfilled for this team its destiny.
Let everything we say and do, God, just glorify you. In your name we pray. Amen.
I think our biggest contribution, I guess, for this team, you know, for the future of LC is just no matter what, you have to give it to God. You know, yeah, it's easy to do it when it's, you know, you go 10-0 or, you know, you win every game or you win 8 games. It's easy. It's easy then. You know, times are good. But even when times are not so good, you're in the middle of losing, you're 1-4. To still say thank you, God, is tough. You know, and I think, you know, as a senior group, I think we did do that. I believe we did give everything we had, and it was all for him. And I think that's probably our biggest contribution to this program.
Hey, we're a family, man. Let's go. Family on 3. 1, 2, 3.